Hi guys, I have been running through the ringer here. I'm trying to do like a good... This lighting sucks. I mean, that's okay. Okay, so I have been diligently trying to record a tarot card reading for the longest time, and I do not know if I am... A lot of tarot cards readers say that if you have a video and it's really hard to get it up, you're doing something important. Wow, I just... what can I say? So I guess this reading is going to be a little bit different. I think I'm going to do a pull one card at a time, and we're going to start getting some information that way. Oh my gosh. Someone please tell me how storage on digital devices work, because I don't know how many things I deleted for it to keep on saying that there's no storage. Like, what is that? Evil eye, I think. But call me paranoid. Okay. I'm going to pull a card. What's the genre of this movie? We got The Hangman. Shiny. This is going to be one of those movies where you don't know. It's going to be piece by piece. It's going to be like you see someone's perspective, you see another person's perspective, and another person's perspective, and at the end it's all going to line up. It's a lot like Weapons. Again, I said I wasn't going to talk about it, but it keeps on showing up, which means it's very impactful. I mean, it triggers me for some reason, and that must be like, there's a psychological reason there. You know, I'll get to the crux of that in time, I suppose. Who's the star of this movie? Oh, a broken-hearted individual. See, then this happened. This is not the first time the Three of Swords was the main character in a movie, but that was one of the videos that somebody didn't want me to post. Why is this? Why is our star brokenhearted? They're brokenhearted because they... either need rest or they're resting too long, they're holding back, they're not moving forward, you know what? This was something I was going to talk about in one of my other videos, but limerence. This person may be brokenhearted because of limerence. Like they imagine love a lot and they become addicted to fantasizing about love. What's a good question for that? Who are they? Well, what's the biggest obstacle in this movie? We have the Six of Cups. I know you can't really see it with this lighting, but which has to do all with nostalgia, dreams. Again, like, yeah, this is a very romantic individual. This is a very daydreaming individual. I'm trying to think of another question to ask. Will they find love? Ooh, the Hermit. This is like not until after some introspection. Not until after some introspection, if at all. You know, that's a reality for some people. Oh, this is a very poetic movie. Lots of love readings recently. Lots of attempts for love readings. I wish I could do it my normal way, but not only would you not see it, but there's no space to do it with this little setup until someone can enlighten me on how phones work. Anything else? Anything prominent in the movie that we should know about? What should we take from this movie? Then we got the Seven of Wands. That's all about struggle. And this might be how like this person kind of like fights themselves. This might be a person who never rests, or can never find peace, and they're kind of like they're kind of driving themselves crazy, which limerence will do. Is there anyone else in the story? The Chariot. Maybe this is a story about someone falling in love with someone who's not available or not wanting to settle down. And this could be that hermit style torture, that self-inflicted isolative torture where they hold out for this one specific person and everything. Is like kind of giving me that Lana Del Rey song, what is it? For you, it's all for you, everything I do, I tell you all the time. Heaven is a place on earth. Wait. Heaven is a place on earth with you. Something, 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 something. They said the world was built for two. You know, it's giving a little bit of that. Yeah, this is a runner chaser dynamic, which, you know, I heard of cat and mouse before, but not until like this past year have I heard about. I mean, probably like this past few months that I've heard about the runner chaser dynamic. And yeah, it seems like this is the type of person who would do anything for love. Even destroy that. And, this is like, very Pisces energy, very mortar energy, very like, it's very much I would die for you energy. Which is, it's so sad that someone would take advantage. Well, this poor thing. Yeah, you know, I don't know why, but I want to check the bottom of the deck. And we have the Lovers. So, well, we already asked what was going to happen at the end of the story, and it doesn't seem like this person gets to be with this Chariot individual. And I think that if we're going to get like a meaning from the story, it's going to be like what self-love is, and that loving other people is nice, but when love becomes like a self-destructive tool, it's not love anymore. It's an excuse to die. And then I think that this main character can show the world how the it's like kind of like a corrupt form of willing to love someone. Like, I guess you can be addicted to the idea that love will be the end of you. It's a very romantic way to die. Um, yeah, I guess with this Four of Swords energy, the reason why this person is heartbroken is because they are waiting. Like waiting for, like with the Six of Cups energy, they're waiting for their dreams to come true. And it's giving me that Britney Spears song, my loneliness is killing me, and I must confess, I still believe. It's getting that. When I'm not with you, I lose my mind. Give me a sign. Oh, I get that this is a very beautiful person. Or like this person's in love with a very beautiful person, or being in love is a beautiful thing. It's giving me like for the sake of beauty, this is a person like it's giving me that poet who that famous painting of the poet who slit their wrist in the bathtub, that young man. It's giving that. Um yeah, and I guess the lesson is something I've already said before, and maybe that's the reason why I'm having such a hard time posting videos, because maybe I said everything I needed to say, but um oh, man, now I lost it. Something about like self-love. Oh, like love and beauty is something that isn't outside of you. It's something that comes from you. This is a person who would make any like I think that when you're stuck in this era or cycle of limerence, you can be destructive in your relationships because you're waiting for some type of deep hurt that um, justifies your like deep feelings. Like, this is maybe the type of person that tells himself love is only love when it hurts, um, when it's a struggle to obtain, when it's like love isn't something that you obtain, it's something you die for. Like, this is like that kind of mindset. And when you get into a relationship, it doesn't matter how good that partner is or how good the situation is, you're looking for some type of detrimental end. You're looking for a disaster because disaster equals love for you. Um, I think that when this person realizes that, I think that if you do resonate as a person who suffers from limerence, self sacrificial limerence, once you get past the self sacrificial part, you can bring a lot of romance to a relationship because it's almost like your um, profession. You're greatly skilled at um, seeing and working for providing romantic energy. Um, this is someone who would bring a lot of beauty to things, a lot of softness. Um, but there is like this kind of ghostly aspect to this character. Um, it's kind of like if you are a person who has practiced self-sacrificing limerence, you it's like your next form of evolution is um, dream girl, where you're just too good to be true. Which is kind of crazy. You go from love is too good to be true to I'm too good to be true, which is which helps with the cognitive dissonance of being a loving person and not having something to put that love on. Yeah, you become a loving person despite your relationship status. But then you realize, even within the relationships that you were in with this limerence mindset, that you were always like in it by yourself. So it provides clarity. Um, I guess once you gain clarity in the type of person that you are, I mean, like, and I watched a whole history lesson on romanticism and where it came from and why our ideas of romanticism come from the European mindset of appreciating nature. Um, and in like deep emotion, like deep run away with someone information, or not information, run away with someone emotion. This is very deep. I can't live without you type of emotion. Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about this one like my other ones, which were like multiple hours, not multiple hours, but multiple videos that were an hour long. I'm trying not to be upset about it, but here I am. Yeah, I think that if I watched this movie, it would make me cry. um, yeah. I'll pull one more card. Again, anything I need to know out of this video, this movie, to get a better understanding of the message or what's going on there. Let's see what we got. And we got the Nine of Cups, which is about personal successes and stuff like. So again, it's really much like, like I said before, love is something that just comes from you, and isn't something that you have to like love and beauty, truth and freedom, all those things come from you. They're not things that you find, they're things that you are just by being a person. And I get why people say like that Disney effect, where you kind of become desperate for this for like a connection. But I think this goes a little bit more into like, this is like a dark romantic. This person, the star of this movie, this is like maybe like an Edgar Allan Poe kind of person. This is like have you guys read the poem Annabelle Lee? I think what does it say? The wind was jealous of our love, and it came down chilling and killing my Annabelle Lee. Like, this is the type of person who reads this type of poetry. Like, this is the person that thinks the ultimate type of love is a story where they die at the end. It's also given me, have you guys read the story of the Red Mark? I think that one and I feel like the leading lady of that is a really good example, because she really did put her life in her husband's hands, and she was totally willing to do that. And it wasn't like because we're married or whatever. She was just deeply in love and super trusting, and if it made her lover happy, she was willing to die for it. And she did. And I think that's, when you have a limerence type of mindset, that you have to keep in mind that if you beg for a love in which you die at the end, that will happen. And it kind of gives me like that quote from Moulin Rouge, the greatest thing you'll ever know is to love and be loved in return. And we all know how that movie ends. And if you don't know how that movie ends, is one of my, for a moment there I said it was my favorite movie. And I still think that might be true. It's a beautiful movie. Oh my gosh. And the sun come with me. Oh my gosh. I will love you until my dying day. Like that's very much this. And this is a lot of these readings catch me by surprise or catch me off guard. I never know what I'm going to pull, so I never know what I never know what I'm going to read, so I never know how I'm personally going to be triggered by these readings or whatever. And this is something I have to think about because I don't know what limerick people. I guess it really goes back to that. You gotta love yourself first. I guess the lesson is like kind of like gotta love yourself first because people will sacrifice you for their idea of love. Um, you'll sacrifice yourself for your idea of love if you don't think if you think that love is more valuable than your life, then you will sacrifice yourself for it. And but I think that it's a very interesting mindset because without life there is no love. It's kind of like the same thing. To be alive is to be in love, and to be in love is to be alive. And that comes in so many different ways. And I think when you place it all on a romantic relationship, it's like putting all your eggs in one basket. And it's crazy because in this situation, if someone or something calls for you to throw all your eggs down for the sake of your basket, it's kind of like what's the point? Honestly, what are you gonna do with that basket then? And especially with this chariot card being like what the lover in this situation. Um, this is very much the chariot card is going to represent a person who's very much like I'm going to keep pressing on. This is a very independent, which is very opposite of the very dependent, very codependent limerence individual. And so they're going to, like the chariot individual is going to drop a lot of baggage if it thinks it's going to slow them down. And being limerick is often seen as a form of baggage. And like if you think about it, like if you're gonna be desperate all the time for someone's affection, then I can't blame someone for thinking that a limerick person is going to be baggage because that's a heavy load. And like it's very much like Florence and the Machine, the I think it's called Heavy. I was a heavy heart to carry, my feet dragged across the ground. Um, something, 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 but my lover never let me down. Or he took me to the river where he slowly let me drown. Like, that's what this chariot is giving me. It's very much like I'm going to take you as far as I can take you, and when I can't take you any further, I'm going to leave you wherever it is that I'm going to leave you. And I think this is something that people need to think about. Like this is something this is a thought process that people do, like or people have. Like they're with you until they're not with you anymore. And it's not always so predictable. And so when you're left out, when you've been dropped off on the side of the road, um, you're gonna have to press on. And I think that loving yourself is the most motivational way to press on, or the loving yourself is going to be the motivation that you need to press on. I wonder why we got the hangman though, for like this perspective, this perspective, this perspective. What other perspective should we know about? And then we got the judgment. And this is gonna be like maybe like an outside perspective. This is an interesting kind of like, almost like there's a narrator in this. Almost like if you believe in guardian angels, then maybe their perspectives will watch this person grow from being desperately in love with the idea of love and changing to being desperately in love with themselves, maybe. This is giving big lessons, hard lessons learned, hard pills to swallow. And I think it has to do, like, I posted something before about how, well, I saw a post about how, like, they described it as the more experiences you have, the more your heart is, like, kind of broken up to give those experiences attention. And because you have, like, an infinite amount of time, or not an infinite amount of time, you have a finite amount of time. Therefore, you have a finite amount of attention. So you can't give everything equal amount of attention, because I mean, if you had 1,000 eyes all over you, then maybe you could, but you only have two. You can only look at one thing at a time. And when you're separating yourselves between, and this could be a situation where this could be a people pleaser. Oh, you know what? Maybe that's why we have so many different perspectives. I think this might be a story about someone who's a people pleaser, who will try their best to make everybody happy in their vicinity. Like, this is the type of person who doesn't sleep well if they don't think that um, everyone is sleeping happily, resting peacefully. Um, and when you are a people pleaser, you're breaking your heart up into so many different pieces that you don't have any room to provide love for yourself or attention for yourself. And that should always be your priority, because no one's going to make sure that you survive as sure or with as much effort or strength as you are. I guarantee no one's going to. I said maybe like a mother, but sometimes not even that. There's, I have to always think about people who don't have the same circumstances as me, but because there are plenty of people who have mothers who would sacrifice them for less than they could hold in their hand, and there's some others who would kill a nation of people to save their only child or one of their children. But the majority of people, like, if you don't have like that nurturing mother figure, or caretaker figure who's going to stop the world for you. You are your greatest ally, or at least you should be. I know a lot of people say like you are your biggest critique or your biggest critic, but you're also your greatest supporter. When you think about it like that, no one will support your dreams like you because no one wants your dreams to come true more than you do. No one can love you more than you do because no one wants you to be loved as much as you want to be loved. Sometimes people don't realize that, so they don't take action to make sure that their dreams come true. But when you can tap into that motivation, you can do anything. Because you can. This is your life, your perspective. This is your dream world. Everyone you see is just a representation of you, just an opportunity for you to see yourself. And when you're limerick and you love someone, it's not you loving someone else, it's you loving the representation of your potential to be loved or to give love, to be in a loving situation. Yeah, fight for your dreams imagine if this limerick person put all of their effort into them as much as they're putting into this chariot individual. They would have an amazing life. All the resources they spent on chasing this chariot person, they could have bought themselves flowers. Or bought themselves a sweet treat. Or, went after that big, just really do that spa day, or do that makeover, or do that shopping spree montage, or go out into nature and just spend some time with yourself, or whatever it is. But the effort you give to other people can be put on you just as easily. And sometimes it makes sense to give that effort to yourself and not to others. Even though it seems like a very nice idea to give to everybody, just be so self-sacrificing. But you need to remember that compassion needs to be reciprocated with compassion. Being a people pleaser is being a self-proclaimed slave, not a lover. Which is which I see movies, music, or people flatter people into being more of a martyr just by simply taking what they have and not reciprocating that compassion. So I guess you always have to check yourself. Are you giving more compassion than you're receiving? And if that's true, then you need to start giving that compassion to yourself. You need to balance it out. Otherwise, you're going to wring yourself dry. Sometimes for people who's never even asked you to do it. But I do think that some people do ask other people to be limerick and like people pleasing in very subtle ways by flattering your endurance, your strength, your patience, um, without them changing anything. Sometimes people will tell you how good you are at being around them, and that's just basically them saying, complimenting you on how good you are at letting them treat you like anything. You know, they're basically saying, like, you're a good slave. You're a good slave. You do what I want you to do. You don't complain. And when I do something wrong, you don't hold me accountable. Some people really love that. And some people really love that you'll take the initiative to think about things that will please them without them having to say it. Because sometimes people are really pleased with just being able to treat you terribly. Or with less effort than you provide. Some people really enjoy that dynamic that they can receive so much more than they give. It makes them feel lucky. And it satisfies their entitlement. Some people really think they deserve the world and don't need to work for it. And when you find yourself in a situation like that, you just kind of have to there's no way around it besides just not pleasing them anymore. And then sometimes it's hard for a people pleaser, especially if they've been doing that for the longest time. So, they get a lot of pride out of people pleasing because it often leads to a lot of flattery. It becomes their identity, and when they have to stop doing it, they don't know what to do with the rest of their lives. And it's easier to please other people than it is to please yourself. I don't even know why that is. I don't even know why that is. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm gonna end it here. And if you know why it seems to be easier to please other people instead of pleasing yourself, let me know. Um, I feel called to say this if you're looking for a reading. If you've been thinking about asking for a reading, kind of let this be your confirmation, especially with this runner chaser dynamic. Again, if it's not mutual compassion, it's not mutual compassion. If it feels confusing, it is confusing. If it is confusing, it's not right. Definitely, if you're thinking about choosing to be with someone or accepting an offer for someone, if it's confusing, it's confusing. If it brings more confusion than it brings clarity, That's your answer. If you need a tarot card reading to clarify what's going on, then, especially for your romantic situation, if you need a tarot card reading to clarify your romantic relationship, then that might be, definitely pay attention to the reason why you're doing it. If you're doing it because you're really not sure about what to do next or what to say, then I'm saying that's something to think about. If you're doing it because you know what the answer is and you just want to hear it, then I'd say, like, yeah, then you already know the answer. You don't really need this video. It's just kind of for fun. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. I just kind of want to leave it. Stay romantic, guys. Stay romantic. There's nothing wrong with being romantic. What's wrong is sacrificing yourself for someone else. But stay romantic. We need it. Everyone needs it. Stay in touch. Stay connected. Stay loving. Love beauty. Love freedom. Love truth. All the good things. Don't fight for status. Bask in what is. All right, I'm gonna leave it here. Thanks for being here. Sorry this is a little bit like different or whatever, but when one avenue fails me, I have to find another one. So sorry you can't see the cars and you have to be looking at my face this whole time, but I'm sure you'll get over it. And you know, like I said before in my other videos, you don't have to watch this. So don't complain to me about anything at all. I don't want to hear about it. Okay, bye guys.